Gegner schwer beschädigt. Ziel penetriert.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. I know we've just had a week of battleship reviews, and I'm going to give you another battleship review. And the reason I'm going to give you another battleship review is this thing here, the Odin. The all-new Tier 8 premium German battleship. Now, if you're looking at the resources up top of the screen, you might notice that this is my personal account. And yes, I have bought myself an Odin. That should, if you just want to leave it off here, that should give you enough information. Anyway, I'll also leave a link in case you missed the pun on the thumbnail, because it's too good not to expose people to it. So, the Odin. From the description, it says this was an early design for the Scharnhorst, which is suspicious, because first of all, the Odin is a Tier 8 battleship, and the Scharnhorst is a Tier 7 premium. Also, I did have a relatively close look at the earlier designs that led up to the Scharnhorst, and there was one design from an interwar design from the 1920s, which was considering 305mm main guns. The design was based on the Ersatz York class battlecruisers, which were replacement for the York class of armored cruisers, which had the York, which was a Rune class armored cruiser, which was lost during the First World War. The York we were talking about has nothing to do with the York at Tier 7 in the game. Also, the Rune class has nothing to do with the Rune at Tier 9 in the game. But that design did consider 305mm main guns. Now, these main guns are not, that we have on the Odin, are not from that design. And I'll tell you in a minute why. But also the design was considering 8 guns in a more traditional setup with 4 twin turrets. So why am I saying that the Odin's guns couldn't possibly have been in there? Let's have a little diversion quickly, and look at the designation of German guns, German naval guns primarily. So these are 350mm L56 SKC-39 guns. What does that mean? So the L56 is the length of the barrel in calibers. So this is a 56 calibers long barrel, caliber being the diameter of the inside of it, 305mm in this case. The SK stands for Schnellfeuerkanone, or rapid firing or rapid loading, depending on which source you're checking, gun. We'll get to that in a minute. The C-39, the C stands for Konstruktionsjahr, which is a 19th century term, not for the year of construction, but for the year of design. So this is a 56 caliber long gun, 305 millimeters, designed in 1939. And the design that I just mentioned, with the Ersatz York, which isn't a York, but a Rune class, which isn't a Rune, is from the 1920s. So this gun came much later. Now, interestingly enough, this gun did exist. So at least in a single prototype existed. And this gun was meant for coastal defense and for, I think, for armored merchant ships, something in that direction. But they only made a single prototype. And it did have a very, very good range of over 40 kilometers. But they never went into production. The Germans eventually settled on the 283 mils for the Scharnhorst, because that's what they had laying around. And then the 380s were the next step up from there. Lastly, the name Odin comes from, most likely, I mean, obviously being a Norse god, but comes likely from a 19th century coastal defense cruiser by the name of Odin, the sister ship of the Aegir, which is also a ship in World of Warships. We don't have her in Blitz yet. and has nothing absolutely whatsoever to do with the ships that we're seeing here. So, is everybody good and proper confused now? All right, my job here is done. All right, so Odin, what do we have? Tier 8 Scharnhorst, I did mention that. For a Tier 8 battleship, her health pool is very low. This is a small ship. I would actually say this is a battlecruiser. And I'm not the only one saying this is a battlecruiser. The British, in the beginning, classified these things as battlecruisers as well, even though later on they changed that into battleships. So she's got 45,000 hit points, which isn't a huge amount for a Tier 8 battleship. But she is very, very well protected, as is tradition. And we'll compare her with the Tirpitz in a minute. But we have a very good citadel protection, and the only thing that she's not very good at is dealing with fires. But that's, again, traditional for German ships. Top speed of 30 knots. The time to full speed of 20 seconds is pretty impressive. And the turn rate of about 11 seconds isn't grand, but it's for a battleship, it's definitely not bad. So this is I would say this is a battlecruiser more. But let's look at the guns. Now, 305mm sounds like a low caliber. And it is. I mean, usually at Tier 8, the smallest calibers you're finding are the 380s. And most of the time you find 4 or 6 mils. Or do we have anything larger than 4 or 6 at Tier 8? Not sure. But 18-second reload is relatively long for that gun. And so if you look at things like, I think Alaska and Stalingrad have around about 300mm, and they're sitting somewhere at like 14 seconds or something. So they do take a while to reload. And obviously, only being 305mm, the damage output isn't monstrous. That said, they are hitting very, very hard. And these guns, as they were historically designed, were having a very high muzzle velocity. They're quite long in the barrel, and they were meant for long range, things like coastal defense. So they do hit pretty hard, and the armor piercing is perfectly capable of causing citadel hits on enemy battleships at Tier 8. But it's a German battleship, so it's all about the secondaries. We have 2 triple turrets of 150mm secondaries. Now that kind of confused me at the beginning, because I think the Tirpitz gets 4. So I thought, okay, well, my main secondary is not really there. But again, let's look at that in a second. And we've got the 128mm auto secondaries, which is a pretty large caliber for auto secondaries. And they have an absolute murderous range of almost 7 kilometers. Yeah, this ship's all about the secondaries. And I just realized I completely forgot to tell you about the SK bit. So, very, very brief detour. The Schnelllade or Schnellfeuerkanone, rapid firing or rapid loading cannon, comes from from infantry field guns, when back before the turn of the century, everybody was firing guns that would take the recoil and it would bounce back the whole setup, and then you had to realign the gun, clean it out, and then fire it again. Then a German engineer came up with the idea of putting a hydraulic recoil buffer into them, so that wouldn't happen. And Krupp, the manufacturer, totally wasn't having any of that, and decided, nope, they didn't want to have it. So he changed the company, and then Krupp bought that company and shut him down again. And then the French did that very thing and came up with the absolutely famous French 75 field gun. And then the Germans realized that all the brand new field guns they just had purchased from Krupp were, well, they've been dreadnoughted, and they had to refit them all with the thing that was invented in the very first place, but rejected. And that's where the rapid firing or rapid loading gun comes from, and that's what the SK stands for. Anyway, back to the secondaries. Sorry. Very long range secondaries, and the 150mm secondaries. If you look, you can kind of see them here after the B turret. There's one, and the other one is here in the aft. These turn around the whole way, so you can get these to bear on either side. Right. So we do have a very, very, very good secondary ship. She gets two hydros, and she actually gets precise aiming 2, which is not what we usually get on the German ships. So let's make a quick comparison between her and the Tirpitz. So obviously the Tirpitz having significantly more health, and this is a tank-built Tirpitz. The Odin is not. But in terms of acceleration and turn time, this thing is vastly superior. So if we actually include things like, let's say, the rune and compare that. Now the rune turns better, but that's a double steering setup. But the Odin accelerates faster than the rune. And that is just beautiful. So, and then 150 mil secondaries, 2 triple turrets. The Tirpitz gets 6 twins, but they are side mounted, so you only ever get 6 to fire at one point in time. And the Tirpitz has 105 mil auto secondaries with a 5 kilometer range. The Odin has 128 mil auto secondaries with an almost 7 kilometer range. The torpedoes, she gets 2 quad launchers, and they're peculiar because while they're not particularly fast, they have, for German torpedoes, a very, very long range. 6.9 kilometers. That is extremely unusual. Most of these, like again, we can see it on the Tirpitz, have a 5.4 kilometer and they get a little buff from the historical camo. The Odin gets a 6.9 kilometer range torpedoes. So we have a ship which is sturdy, maneuverable, has an absolutely murderous and monstrous array of weapon. And the one downside is that her health pool is on the lower side. So you do have to be a little bit smarter about when you brawl. You can't just sail straight into everything. The AA is not bad, especially the small caliber AA. I'm assuming that the I'm assuming that the 120s are dual purpose, but AA is not bad. So setup. I have obviously the second battery mod 2 in here. Well, I'm saying obviously because that increases both the range of the manual and auto secondaries, and it improves the dispersion by a significant amount for the secondaries. Second slot is propulsion mod 1, and I have played her with the deck protection, but I like her better as a super heavy cruiser. I'm playing her basically like a super heavy cruiser that actually has armor, unlike the things that we're seeing like with the Alaska. And the third slot is in steering mod. Now, remember that secondary thing I mentioned. She actually, unlike a lot of other German battleships, or at least the Tirpitz, I haven't checked the other ones, but gets the secondary gun specialization, so which improves the reload on both the manual and auto secondary. So this is not the tank build like I have on the Tirpitz, because for Tirpitz it's tank or torpedo. Torpedo damage reduction. Here, this is a no-brainer for me. Secondary gun specialization, and yeah, this gets our 128 mil secondaries to a 4-second reload time, and in almost 7 kilometer range. Sad Massachusetts noises. This is the ship the Massachusetts should have been, in my opinion, when it comes to these things. And my gosh, these things are brutal. So, I have Franz von Hipper sailing on her because he is trained on the Großer Kurfürst, but he goes on to all my German premiums. So with him, you obviously get an improved armament repair, you get the 6th sense skill, you get the better hydro, you get the better marksman, and you get the improved close quarters combat, which coincidentally improves the dispersion on the secondaries, which is not a bad thing. And yes, once I have him trained up, he actually gets a much better APCS. So, yep, we'll get to that. The historical camo, and this came with a bundle, gives us more hit points, more range on the mains, a better dispersion on the mains, and a better torpedo damage reduction. The mains are good, right? Don't get me wrong. The main guns are actually good, but they are not the star of the show. So, I'm going to show you 2 battles today, and sorry if this is going to take a little longer again, but this is a ship that I am just super excited about. I'm going to show you 2 battles today. The first one I played on the press account, and the second one I actually played with my own. So the first one is the same setup, different commander, but just so you're not confused while I suddenly have the historical camo in there. All right, let's do this. So on this first battle, like I mentioned, press account still. We're on fault line and base capture, and we're in a top-tier battle. Hiryu, Gascogne, Colorado, Takao, Atlanta, Mayhem, and Leningrad on the enemy team. Let's see what we can get done. The hit points, again, mean that you do have to be a little bit more conservative, so you can't just rush out blindly into enemy fire at the beginning of the battle, and you will be the first in line, and you will be shot down. Somewhat easier than in the bigger sister, like in the Tirpitz. But also look at the torpedo angles on this thing. Have you just seen it quickly there? We'll get to see that again, but the torpedo angles are excellent. Very much reminiscent of the Admiral Graf Speer Tier 6. So I've got a Belfast with me. They're 2 destroyers, but I'm not afraid of destroyers. Not in this thing, not with these secondaries. And we'll head over here and see what we can find and see if we can just push this flank. So enemy carrier is trying to do some fighter pull. A friendly carrier is is doing similar things, but no one's sending out any scouts or dive bombers yet, so we're flying blind right now. There should be at least one destroyer on this flank. Okay, there come some dive bombers. And we're finally starting to get some visibility. There's one battleship. And not yet in range, not quite, but the Belfast will start opening up. Okay, I'm spotted. It's not the Gascogne, so there's a destroyer over here. Because the 2 cruisers are on the other side. So shots out at the Gascogne. And, there he is. Okay, Leningrad. Secondary is opening up. Look at the torpedo angles. Alright, so torps off against the Leningrad. Full in reverse, turn in. Auto secondaries are opening up by themselves. And go manual secondaries. And there come the Leningrad torps, and nope, denied. And now you're dead, because at this range, even with the armor piercing, yeah. Which means that, okay, we're gonna get hit by some dive bombers. There's very little we can do about this, because I had to stop to dodge the Leningrad torps. But maybe I can dodge 1 or 2 here, but that's alright, we'll take some. The Gascogne. The destroyer taken care of, the other destroyer probably being on the other side, I can actually, well, scream very loud and rush the Frenchmen over there. Now, the main guns, if you get lucky, can be really, really consistent with the citadels. But again, it's not all about the main guns, right? So look at this, the auto secondaries are opening up. And there comes a veritable flurry of, or a veritable hail of things. And again, these absolutely excellent torpedo angles. With the 150s, and I hadn't been quite familiar yet with the shell velocity and the ballistics, but with the there we shredded it. The 150s, you do need to aim at things like bow section. Okay, dive bombers just set me on fire. Torpedo bombers coming in. I don't want to flood, so full on reverse. 20-second acceleration, and that means I should be able to get right into that torpedo bomber drop. And I think I'm going to take 1. Yep, take 1. That's fine. Okay, this is fine. Takao, hello. Japanese cruiser. There's a Colorado as well. Okay, now we're just gonna go on a rampage right now. So there's an Atlanta as well. That hurt. And took out one of his guns, and he's on fire and he's flooding. So his damage cone is on cooldown. He's probably gonna try and torp me. I do have a hydro, so I'm just trying to get in secondary range. And with this ship, that means let me slow it down. With this ship, that actually means 7 kilometers. So there we go, auto secondaries should be starting to open up. There they go. Alright, some torpedoes out, full on reverse, and hydro up because the Takao isn't shooting at me, so he's most likely lining up some torps. Now he's shooting, torps are on the way, up there they are. And I need to get some speed up again, just so I'm not dropping off. I'm on half health, so even if I take 1 or 2 I should be able to get. Just making sure that my secondaries are in range and he doesn't get the torpedoes off on the other side. Alright, that's that. Hello Colorado. Hello Atlanta. Okay, fire up. And one thing with the auto secondaries is, yeah, that shreds the Atlanta, and he gets very lucky not to be deleted right there. Well, auto secondaries can kill him. One thing with the auto secondaries is that they work on both sides, right? Because they are on both sides. So if there's anything on my right side right now, which is in auto secondary range, then, well, they're gonna fire at it. There, you see that? They're firing on both sides. This is a guns blazing ship. Alright, Colorado. I'm pretty sure we can take you, right? 5,000 health should be enough. Citadel on the Colorado, torpedoes on the water. And just getting a little angled in so the auto secondaries can open up. And there he is, Colorado dead. And that just leaves the Mayhem, so I can switch over the main guns to the high explosive. But yeah, this is the sort of thing you do with the Odin. And I mean, this is the sort of thing you do with every German battleship. The thing is, the Odin is really more of a battle cruiser in such that she can, that she has the maneuverability to do things like torpedo dodging and bobbing and weaving between cruisers and taking on destroyers and stuff like that. Excellent torpedo angles, long-range torpedoes. So as long as you're not getting focus fired, and you can use your health to the necessary effect, then she is an extremely powerful battleship and an extremely powerful brawler. All right, now let's see if we can spot that Mayhem aircraft on the way. He should be around there somewhere. That's where he was last seen. I just don't want to take any torps right now. Oh, yeah, he is. Okay. He might have torps in the water. I'm out of hydro. Shots out. Can I get him? Well, 3 hits. He gets lucky. I'm just going to heal up a little bit just in case torps in the water. I don't want to die right here. But yeah, that was not 100% necessary. Okay, can I still? No, I can't get him. Z23 takes him out, but the auto secondaries would have gotten him a second later. Yeah. Yeah, that's that was the Odin in my press account. And after that game, I decided, okay, as soon as the Odin comes out, this is mine, because this is absolutely down my alley. So let's just quickly check how many secondary hits we got in. And we did 146 hits with the secondaries. Yeah, this is around about the ballpark you can expect. You can do more. And it's just the auto secondaries doing mad things. In the second battle, we're actually top tier. There's 1 Arca in the enemy team. Richelieu, Northcal, Cleveland, Hipper, Shores, and 2 DDs. And again, we're playing Domination. Domination's ideal. You can play this successfully in the epicenter mode, things like center cuts. But you do have to be careful that you're not getting crossfired, and you will be taken out. Right? It's not invulnerable, and she does have almost 10,000 health less than the Tirpitz. So keep that in mind. Play her mobile, more like a battle cruiser, and find your spot where you can push and where you need to be. Don't be afraid to take on more than 1 ship at a time, but yeah, you do need to kind of watch what you're doing and not blindly sail into crossfires. Okay, so we're going C. Benson's leading the way. Cruiser with me. I'm not scared of destroyers. That's the Shores. Yep. Any kind of destroyer coming this way is going to have a terrible time. Okay, enemy Shores sighted. So that's going to be my first target. We're cupping C, so no enemy destroyer in C. I'm spotted. That could have been the Shores, but I'm targeted. And it doesn't look like the Shores are shooting at me. So there is an enemy destroyer here somewhere. Oh no, that was yeah, I'm getting targeted by 2. So shots out at the Shores, but there is a DD. Okay, there's the lightning. Alright, so Hydra up. And put her in reverse. And yeah, just slightly angle in to get the secondaries, the auto secondaries on target. And there they start opening up. I'm going to drop some torpedoes in the direction of the lightning. There come the lightning torps, and he's kind of stuck himself against an island, so all the guns firing at him. Auto secondary set him on fire, which means I can actually see where he's going because the fire is burning. And I think he's going to run to one of my torps. Yes, we have torpedo destroyer. I mean, the Shores took him out, lucky. Yeah, we've torpedoed the destroyer. Okay, enemy Shores on low health. Let's see if we can get quick clear dispatch of him so he doesn't get to heal up or be annoying from a distance. Okay, enemy Shores dead. Which means now we can go on a rampage because we've cleaned this flank up. And that's 2 enemy ships down, 2 no losses. There's a Richelieu, so let's start opening up that thing because it's dangerous. And the Richelieu at this point, I mean, being 2 ships down and being basically fired at by everybody, and having a Bismarck at close range, should have reversed and gone defensive in A cup and see that he preserves his health. Instead, he goes forward and basically goes onto a suicide run right here because everyone's shooting at him. All the destroyers are launching at him, and he's going to be very, very dead in not very long time. So we'll use the precise aiming for the mains at this range. And they're not super precise, but they get the job done. Okay, the Richelieu is dead. He's just not in auto secondary range, but almost. But he's dead already. Okay, we've got a Hipper to shoot at, and we've got another battleship in front of us. Alright, shots out at the Hipper. And what's that in front of us? Okay, North Carolina. Now, there's the shores on my left, there's Benson on my right, and North Carolina is not shooting at either of them. But there are still 2 cruisers and a destroyer, and they might be outflanking us around B Cap, and that Algerie is starting to lose health, and Algeries are very squishy. So I think I'm better off over there and helping that Kagero, because there's now 3 people shooting at the North Carl. There's no need for me to do that as well. So I'm going to go over there and start working with the Cleveland. I haven't even used my repair quite yet, but let's rush the Cleveland. And there's a smoke. I'm not sure if this is Kagero smoke or if this is the other destroyer. Let's just wait and see what's coming up here. Okay, shots out at Cleveland. Keep an eye on that suspicious. It might have been a Kagero smoke when he was trying. Nope, there are definitely unfriendly torpedoes coming out of that smoke. So that's not a Kagero smoke. Okay, Cleveland sets me on fire. That's fine. That's expected. Just put the first heal in. We're going in guns blazing, and just look at the counter for the auto secondaries. And the Cleveland decides, nope, I'm not having any of this. Yeah, good luck, buddy. Just making sure I'm keeping the Hipper at more than 5.4 kilometers. And keep... oh, there's the Akka. Okay. There comes some Akka torps. Yep. I knew you were there somewhere. Alright, these are gonna miss. So auto secondaries on the other side start working over the Akka. And the manual secondaries getting turned around. I don't think I'm taking one. Yep. Okay, Hippers out of... auto secondaries on both sides are opening up and everything. Hipper's out of torpedo range, so he's not my problem, and which means I'm going to kill the Cleveland because my damage con is on cooldown and I don't want to triple permafire. And the Aka's just fired torpedoes, so he's relatively harmless right now. I'm just making sure I'm keeping my bow towards him, and the Cleveland should be about done-ish by now. Let's see if we can get another hit in. Come on, reload mains. Akka should be almost reloaded at this point. Okay, that's the Cleveland done. Now I can deal with the Akka. Okay, full turn in case he's got drops away. And so this is just a forward turret from the 150s. I don't have a Hydra anymore, so I'm gonna have to be a bit careful. Put her in reverse, just in case he fired right now. And empty the mains, switch over to the high explosive. But again, the auto secondaries and the manual secondaries are just killing this thing. There comes the first torp set. There's probably going to be 2 more in the water. So we're going to go forward again, just so we don't lose him. But I think he's getting fired from the other side. Yep, Shores takes him out. There come the torpedoes. I think we're going to take 2 of those. Yeah, we're going to take 2 of those. That's fine. And there we go. This is the sort of thing you can do in the Odin. You can run at enemy ships, shout very loud, and get all the guns blazing. As usual with a triple weapon setup, you do cycle out of the sniper view, so just get used to that. You've got the same issue on the Tirpitz or on the Gneisenau or on the Scharnhorst, but it's not a huge problem, because most of the time when you are cycling, you're going to be within 6 kilometers anyway. And you don't need a sniper view for that. Just point the guns in the general direction of the enemy, and the German guns will do the rest. Again, this is mostly about the secondaries anyway. You want to just sail the ship within 6 to 7 kilometers range, get all the secondaries firing, drop your torpedoes, and then enjoy yourself. Really, is what I would say. So the Odin. Yes, you could say, okay, it's yet another premium, meh, it's yet another tier 8 premium, super powerful, just like Tirpitz. Yes, it is. And I won't deny it, that it's a super powerful premium. The Bismarck, though, is a great ship still. The Gneisenau is not a bad ship at tier 7 if you want to play this kind of playstyle. So, it's not all overpowered whale, pay a lot of money for things, but if you want to get your hands on this ship, And if you like this sort of playstyle, if you're a brawler, if you like German battleships or German heavy cruisers or anything really that brawls, this is an absolutely fantastic ship for that purpose. Maybe she'll be in the shipyard at one point. You never know. You don't have to necessarily pay money for it right now. But yeah, you do have to know what you're doing. You do have to make sure you're watching your health a little bit and take engagements that you can win. And then she is the greatest fun of all. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks, everybody. And I'll try to do some not battleship things next. Have a good week. See you all. Bye.